Hey folks, David Fine from Watch Your Lip. Today guys, we're going to take our little spinning reel and we're going to set it up for live bait fishing. It's a rig that we use for bass fishing, peacock bass, snakeheads, snapper fishing, snook fishing. It's very, very universal. I've got 20-pound test braid on this fishing reel. It's a small spinning reel. And we're going to set it up with a monofilament leader and a live bait hook. And it's really simple. This is really for beginners. Guys, check it out. I'm going to show you how to do that. So for beginners, some people are just learning how to use this thing. You know, this spinning reel, you got to open this bail. And what we want to do is we're going to take the line off the reel. Once you open the bail, the line comes right off the spool. And we're going to run this line through the guides of our fishing rod. This is one of my favorite rigs. It seems like I use it like 90% of the time. And I've caught massive fish on these little, even on these little rods and reels on the beach, in the intracoastal, and even boat fishing. You know, this rig is a fantastic rig. And it's nice and simple. That's what I like about it. All right, now that our braided line is spooled all the way through, guys, this is our braided line. It's coming off of our fishing reel. And then first thing you want to do is you want to put on a leader. So this is 20-pound leader, monofilament leader. You can use fluorocarbon. Fluorocarbon is much more expensive. I'm just going to use monofilament. I'm going to cut a piece probably 4 feet long, maybe 5, and be done with that. Okay. And the reason we use the clear monofilament is because it's a little bit more elastic. It's a little bit more fray resistant. If a fish has teeth, like a snakehead or even a largemouth bass, sometimes the little sandpapery teeth can kind of wear through the braided line, and we want to keep our braided line intact, because once this stuff starts to fray on anything, or even chafe on a rock or on a seaweed or anything, it will chafe through and break very quickly once it starts to fray. So the mono is a little bit more forgiving in that aspect, and the clear, transparent monofilament or fluorocarbon leaders are probably less visible in the water. So how are we going to attach them? If you wanted to tie a swivel to this, you can do that. I like to splice these two together. Okay, we're going to splice these two together. We're going to show you how to do that. It's called a double uni knot. It's a very universal knot. We're going to show. We have a video up close on how to do that with some heavier line. But I'm going to show you how to tie these two lines together, the braided line from your fishing reel onto your fluorocarbon leader or your monofilament leader. Check it out. Okay, guys, we're going to tie our two lines together. It's called a splice. We're tying a double uni. So I'm taking my braid. This is coming off of my fishing line, off of my reel. And then here's the end of the line. Then we're going to take our leader and we're going to lay them opposite to one another. So they're kind of like going across one another. See that? So now we start with our heavier line, which would, in this case, would be our monofilament is actually thicker, even though it's lighter in terms of pound test, it's actually thicker in diameter. So we're going to pull like 10 inches of tag end off of this. Then we're going to form a loop. See this loop I just formed? Now I've got a loop formed with my braid and my mono, and I've formed a loop with my mono, and I've got this little loop that I formed. This is called the uni knot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go take my tag end of my mono through the loop, and I'm going to wrap it around this, both the mono and the braid 4 times. 2, oops, I let go by accident. That happens. 3, 4. Okay, so now I've got my monofilament leader here, the tag end of my braided line, and now I've got this loop. Now I've got the tag end of my mono on this hand and my braided line on that hand. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lubricate Saliva is actually very useful for that. If you don't want it, you can use water, it's fine. I'm gonna lubricate it so it doesn't burn the line when I pinch this down, but I'm just gonna pull these until that tightens down. You don't have to tighten it down too much right now. You just wanna get it a little snug. Now, that's the single uni, but we have to do the same thing with this braid tag. Okay, so we're gonna we can actually pull that through a little bit. We can actually pull the braid through the knot so we have enough to work with. Okay, so now we have both of our lines. See that? We got both of our lines, our braid tag and our monofilament leader. And so then we're gonna take our braid tag. Now we're gonna make a loop with our braid, and we're gonna go with the braid tag in and through. Same thing we did with the mono, but we're gonna do it 6 times with the braid. The thinner braid tends to slip through knots a little bit easier, so we tend to do more loops with the braid. Okay, now, so we have our loop with our braid wrapped around both the mono and the braided line 6 times, and here's our tag end. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull that, and I'm gonna pull this all at the same time until it pinches down a little bit. Actually, I should have wet it. We have 2 knots now. We have one here and one right here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull on the monofilament leader and we're gonna pull on the braid line, and those 2 are just going to pull together, and then we'll tighten it down best we can with our hands, and you can actually feel a little click. It's interesting. That little click is those knots just cinching down on one another. So I'm gonna take a pair of scissors and I'm gonna cut the tag end. So what you're gonna have, you have your leader and you have your main line, and then you're gonna have a monofilament tag end and you're gonna have a braid tag end. You don't want those interfering with your fishing. So we're gonna cut those off. Make sure you cut the right one. I've done that before. It's very frustrating. After you make a beautiful knot, you cut the wrong one. All right, there we go. Now we have a beautiful splice right here of our monofilament leader to our braided line. So next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna put a hook on. We're gonna come to the end of our leader here. If we're shiner fishing or using small pilchards or anything like that, I like to use a 1/0 Mu2 light offset circle hook. Owner makes a great one. We've been using this one for years. Guys, this has actually been probably the most popular hook that I've bought since in the last 5 years of fishing. They are expensive. It's the Owner Mu2 light offset circle hook. I'm using a 1/0 for a lot of our smaller fish, bass fishing, peacocks, large, mangrove snapper, even snook. Depends on the size of your bait. Lately, I've been trying these Tsunami Salt X hooks, which are also good. I'm undecided on that yet. I'm a creature of habit. All right, now that I have my, I've got my Mu2 light Owner offset. When I say offset, you see how the circle hook is like kind of curved to the side here? That means when the fish takes it, there's something to snag on there, which is really good. So that's my favorite hook. 1/0 Owner Mu2 light offset circle hooks, my favorite hook of all time so far. Now I'll take my line, put it through the eye. Now I'm gonna tie a knot, which is a knot that, I don't know the name of it, so I'm just gonna call it the watch your lip knot for now. So I take a considerably long tag, and I'm gonna go underneath my other line, and then I'm gonna pinch it with my finger, and then I'm gonna wrap it around my finger and the line twice, and it creates two little loops right here. And I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna go like from the end of the hook out through the back. I'm gonna go through those two little loops. Okay, I'm gonna pull it through. I'm gonna cinch it down and then I'll pull it tight. I'll cut my tag end off. Here we go, guys. We are ready to fish. I've got a flat line right now, and that is gonna be all you need to catch fish. So what you can do is I've got about a 4-foot leader on this reel, on this line right now. If you want to put a bobber, a float, you can get these bobbers at like a tackle shop. They're very cheap. They're like 50 cents or something like that. Got a little groove in them. You can put the bobber, slide the line in to the little groove, and then put the little stick down into the hole, and you've got a float on your bobber. It keeps their bait up in the water column. If you actually want to sink your bait, you don't want a bobber. If you want to sink your bait, like if you're on a boat, you're trying to fish the reef, trying to catch snapper or something like that, or if you're on the beach, you're snook fishing, you've got a live pilchard, and you just want to, just a little tiny bit of weight to keep your bait on bottom, but you don't want to have a huge weight, you can get these little pinch weights like this, these little, like little Pac-Man weights. What you do is you take this little like 1/4 ounce pinch weight and you can just pinch it onto your leader kind of wherever you want. And take a pair of pliers and just close it down. And now you have a little pinch weight on your leader. And this is fairly close to the hook. I'm just showing you guys. I'm usually fishing a flat line, but I wanted to show you what it looked like to put a pinch weight on. And if you don't want to fish it, want to take it off, just get a pair of pliers and unpinch it, and then you're flat line again. All right, folks, this rod is set up. Usually the rods these days have a little ring right here down by the reel, and you can put your hook through that ring and then just reel it tight. So when you're trying to store your rod, you're not using it for fishing. It keeps the hook out of the way, keeps you from getting hooked or snagging your clothes or whatever. So guys, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. This rod is ready to fish. I use this rig for many different things. So guys, please like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. You'll see, I use this rig all over the place. Anytime I'm freshwater fishing, a lot of times on the beach, it's a fantastic rig to use, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. Till next time, guys, watch the lip. Let's get out there and catch some fish. Take care now.